Hi, guys. Welcome back to Through the Cycles. I am your host, Deanna, and welcome back. Boy, it has been a while. I got swamped with that nasty flu that's been going around, but we are back. We have our energy back. We're feeling good, excited to record today's episode. And if you had the flu this year, whatever the fuck they put in that flu, oh my God. You are a survivor. That was terrible. I really didn't know if I was going to make it out there for a second, but so much better now that I'm feeling back to normal. So, without further ado, I'm going to get right into today's episode. I wanted to talk about the dichotomy between there not being enough hours in the day and there being too many hours in the day. I have had quite the perspective change over the last couple of months and just wanted to touch on how my mindset has shifted when it comes to time. So let me take you to when I was in the mindset of there are too many hours in the day. I was in that post-grad phase where I had no job. I was home living with my parents. And God, that was a tough time. I just didn't have much. I didn't have much to do. I didn't have much going on. I didn't have a job. I had no money coming in. So the days for me quickly started to feel very repetitive, very monotonous. And I was pretty much in a depressive episode at this time. I had nothing really going for me. I had the start of some seeds being planted in my life towards what I wanted to do and my career, and those were me making the decision that I was going to finish writing the book that I had started writing in Costa Rica, and that I was going to join the Pilates teacher training program. So those were the two decisions I kind of made to take that action into my career and my business. At the time, I didn't even really know it was a business or my business or that's what it would be. But I was, finished writing the story. I would write a little bit more of the story each and every day. I was going to Pilates 3 times a week, but at the time, I was still waiting for the teacher training program to actually start. I was waiting for our beginner systems seminar to kick off. So I was taking my weekly private lessons, but I just didn't have much on the schedule. I didn't have much on my agenda. I didn't even have enough to keep a planner because there was really nothing to plan. There was, one Pilates lesson and one therapy session that week. And that was it. That was my week. Those were the two things that I had to do. So there was really no need to write it down or to schedule out anything. And I was so used to that from college. I would schedule out my whole day and I would keep a planner and I have this assignment due and I have to do that. And I'm going out with my friends and then I'm doing this and then and it was always something. And at this point in my life, it was nothing. So I pretty much resorted to homesteading. I started following recipes on Instagram. I would make my own pickles and I started juicing. I used juicing as a whole production throughout the day. It was like a 2.5 hour ordeal. I would make a giant batch of green juice and I would clean the juicer and I would bottle the juices and I would put it in the fridge and wait for it to get cold to have a juice. So that took time out of my day, and making the pickles took time out of my day. But none of these things were really making me feel fulfilled on a soul level. And the book and Pilates I wasn't reaping any of the rewards yet. I wasn't seeing any of that turnaround quite yet. It was just something that I was doing with no momentum just yet. Time just felt like slow. I would look at the clock and be like, oh my God, it's only 2 o'clock. how many more hours of the day are left? You know, like how many more hours of the day are left? How many more things do I have to do to try to distract myself, to try to keep myself busy? And I knew that scrolling on my phone all day or watching TV all day was not good for my mental health. I would allot time for it, but not as much time as I would have liked to divulge into hours of mindless scrolling. So it was exhausting. I was exhausted doing nothing and watching the clock and waking up each morning like, whew, what weird activity am I going to pick to do today? Because I really got nothing to do. And it was sad. It was repetitive and sad. I had my whole family leave to go to work. I had my boyfriend at the time who was starting his business from the ground up, and he was busy. He had a bunch of calls and shoots, and his business was blowing up. And I just kind of felt like useless, unproductive, like there were too many hours in the day. Having 12 hours of awake time was daunting each day, was scary and uncomfortable. And I tried to keep myself busy. I did the homesteading things. I was doing the juicing thing. I would go on my walks and I would grab a coffee when I could, but it just wasn't fulfilling. And I just felt like time was so slow. And I think that when you're depressed, time really can just feel so different. It's so isolating to feel like everybody is moving around you and go, 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 go. And you're just there, still. Almost like watching it all happen around you. It's a very interesting feeling, but if you know the feeling, you know what I'm talking about. It's how is time moving so slow? How do we have 2 more days left to go in the week? How is this week still only at Wednesday? And what I boiled things down to was I felt like there were too many hours in the day. I felt unfulfilled. I felt like I had no purpose because I had no purpose. Because I wasn't doing anything that was fulfilling my soul. And I knew that. I had things in the works. I had planted the seeds, but nothing quite picked up that momentum yet. I knew that that feeling was temporary. I knew that the time was temporary and where I needed to be at the time, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't depressing. That doesn't mean that the long 12-hour days weren't fucking long. And I had this very fast, quick switch. I went from there's too many hours in the day to there's not enough hours in the day, what felt like overnight. The time thing completely was out of my mind when things started picking up. It wasn't even something I thought about. It wasn't even something I noticed. It was, we're in it. We're doing it. This is happening. And the shift was between finishing up my book, but still kind of hesitant on what I was going to do with it. I didn't know I was going to publish it. I didn't know how I was going to publish it. I didn't want to share it with anyone else because I was scared and didn't think that I was good enough or people would like it. So there was still that insecurity of, yes, I'm finishing this book, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. And the same thing with Pilates. It was, yes, I joined this teacher training program, but it still hasn't started, and I don't know what to expect, or I don't know how long this is going to take. And there was fear around both of those things and uncertainty around both of those things. So I still didn't know where they were going or how I was going to get there until I was just sort of there. And that switch happened when I made the decision to self-publish through Amazon KDP, and I made the decision to start posting on TikTok every day. And I jumped into the teacher's training program, and we did our beginner system seminar. And now I was practicing with other apprentices, and I was understanding how the school worked, and I was learning so much, and it was exciting. And then I passed my basic tests, and then I started teaching in studios. So everything sort of came to fruition at one time, which is, when it comes to like my spirit guides and my higher self, I always knew that would happen. I knew that was coming for me, but it was hard to feel it when every day was the same and there was nothing going on and I had no money coming in, and I just felt stuck until I didn't feel stuck anymore. My days went from, what holistic recipe am I going to cook today, to fill up my day, to I don't know how I'm going to get all this shit done today. And the switch was, I released my book for pre-order on my website. I was now teaching in a Pilates studio a couple hours a week, and I was still working towards my certification to finish my intermediate and my advanced. And I was posting consistently on TikTok. And at the time, I also made the decision to start posting consistent Mat Pilates videos on my YouTube channel. So I started to recognize everything that was happening as a business, as my business. And that was really when everything started to change. I was pouring into myself and taking the time to post on TikTok every day and post on YouTube once a week and start the podcast, and all of the things were just, it was like domino effect. Everything was cascading in that beautiful line. And about 2 weeks after I released my book for pre-order, I had one of my TikToks go viral. And 60,000 people watched my TikTok, and are now, a lot of people are ordering my books, and I don't have enough books to give them. So I was ordering more author copies through Amazon. I was packing orders. I was writing handwritten notes in each one. I was sending them to the post office. I was going to teach Pilates. I was going up to my Pilates school to learn. I was uploading Mat Pilates videos to YouTube. I had to film a TikTok and a day in the life, and everything was busy. My day was packed, and I was fucking loving it. I am loving it still to this day. I feel productive. I feel like there's always something to be doing, and it's fulfilling. It's rewarding. I'll never forget that week that TikTok went viral and I had all those orders come through. There was a sense of anxiety and feeling overwhelmed of, oh my God, how the hell am I going to get all these books out? How the hell am I going to write all these handwritten notes? And that was something I wanted to do. I wanted to write a handwritten note to each and every single one of you who ordered a book, because, my God, thank you. So there was this sense of overwhelm and this sense of anxiety. And I took a second, and I remember saying to my boyfriend on FaceTime, there's not enough hours in the day. And I was like, vroom, put right back into my body about 7 months ago, saying to myself in my head, there's too many hours in the day. And I was put right back in my body in that present moment of, there's not enough hours in the day. And I was like, wow, your perspective on life can change so quickly, and the environment around you has such an impact on your perspective in life. When you're doing nothing, when you have nothing to look forward to, when you have no purpose and you feel useless and tired and bored, it's really easy to feel depressed and sad and guilty and shameful and negative. And like there's too many hours in the day. It was easy to stay stuck in that negative spiral of emotion. Like time was not moving. And then all the way up to there's not enough hours in the day. How am I going to get everything done? I'm kind of anxious about this. All spiraling into this is your purpose. You have purpose. You're reaping the rewards from the book. You're seeing people read your book and like your book, and it's fucking fulfilling. So as somebody who was down in the dumps about there being too many hours in the day, I full-heartedly feel like now there's not enough hours in the day. Like I only have 12 hours to get everything I need to get done and get, 8 to 9 hours of sleep. And in a beautiful world, I get 10 hours of sleep. So there's just so much that needs to be done throughout the day to pour into this business. And I'm grateful to do it. I think that it just really shows me that when I'm in alignment, I'm not feeling like time is getting away from me. I feel like I'm on top of it. I have my days planned out. I have a planner now. I'm scheduled to the T with every single thing that's going on in my life. And the time that I do have open is really nice because I'm creating that financial freedom right now to be able to do whatever I want when I have that time off and not feel guilty about it. If I have Thursday off between 2 and 5 o'clock before I go teach my next Pilates class and I packed all my orders for the day and I answered my emails and blah, 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 then maybe I go thrifting. And maybe I can go thrifting and spend however much money I want to spend and not feel guilty or feel like I wasted the day or feel like I spent money when I didn't have money to spend. It's creating the life I want to live by pouring into myself. And that has absolutely transformed time for me. And when it does feel overwhelming and it does feel like, not enough hours in the day, and I start getting that anxious, overwhelming feeling, it's just, okay, deep breath. There are enough hours in the day, and whatever you can't get done today, you can get done tomorrow. So it's so interesting, though, from going from feeling like stuck and in a rut to borderline overwhelmed and and coming out of it for a second and not feeling grateful and getting stuck in the how am I going to get all this done? And it's like it shouldn't be a burden. You get to get all of this stuff done. You have created this life for yourself. You wanted this. And it's really just reminding yourself that, reminding myself that, because time can be a very tricky thing. I'm grateful that I went through that period in my life when time just kind of felt like it was standing still. And I'm grateful for this time period in my life. And everywhere you are is perfect. Wherever you're at with time or with life, it's all perfect. It's all going to get you where you need to go. And if you come off the path a little bit, you'll go right back on. It's no big deal. Not everything is so serious. And that's really been highlighted to me throughout the last 2 years. It's that everything is temporary and feelings are temporary, and just feel them. If you're in that depressive episode and time feels fucking long, just feel it. Just be depressed. Just be bored and try to do stuff and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, that's okay too. As long as you're trying, as long as you're aware that you're on the right track, you'll get on the right track. I mean, look at me. I was no direction, no purpose, had no idea where to go. And now I'm a published author. I have a podcast. I post weekly YouTube videos, and I teach in the Pilates studio of my dreams. I'm about to test out for my intermediate certificate, and I couldn't be more grateful and more happy with where I am in life right now. I always knew that amazing things were coming for me. I still know that amazing things are coming for me. I'm excited about it. I'm grateful to be here. Just to shed some light on each of you who have read my book already, thank you guys so much for the feedback. It's been making me giggle and smile hearing your reactions to the story and the characters and why I made certain choices. And yeah, it's just been like an author's dream, honestly, to hear from you guys. So thank you so much if you have read the novel and you like the novel. And if you want to go and get yourself a copy, copies are available on my website. Link is in the description, or they're available on Amazon. If you want that quicker free shipping date, go ahead and order on Amazon. But signed copies are available on my website, as well as some goodies thrown in there for you guys. But yeah, I think that's all I got today. Time. Freaky thing time is. And yeah, I've had quite the shift in my perspective in time, and I'm liking where I'm at much better on the end of not enough hours in the day, as opposed to there's too many hours in the day. I like leaning more towards that side. So it's been good. It's been productive. It's been good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling in alignment. And I hope that whatever you guys are doing, you feel in alignment and you feel good. And if you don't, just know that you'll get there. And when you do get there, oh my God, it's going to be fucking amazing. So hang in there. It will all work out. As always, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you noticed the new camera quality set up on YouTube. And as always, have an amazing week, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.